And what's new now is the center value. And in the center value, you can see a value, a label, an image, and a background. The background is turned off now in this version. If you turn it on, you will see that you can choose a fill. Then you can see here that you can also add an image here. So this is pretty great now, because before you had to build a donut chart and you had to build a card and then you have to overlap them and really make sure that they are pixel perfect to each other to display what you can see here now. Welcome back. Power BI just got an upgrade, the August 2026 update. And now you have a lot of more possibilities when it comes to donut charts. I'm not such a big fan of donut charts because people often use them for the wrong use cases. And so I decided not just to show you an update of what is possible now, but also to explain you some rules when donut charts might be a good choice and when not. So let's jump into Power BI and I will show you what you got with the August 26 update regarding donut charts. So here we are in Power BI and you can already see a donut chart with categories and a center value, and not just that, also an image and a label. And you could also change the background. I will show you later how to do that. And the good news are many of these are conditional formatable, so you can let the text change dynamically on what you've selected and what you really want to see. So if we have a look at the chart, you can see now that you have different options. You have, as usual, size, style, title. Then here you can go to the slices. And the first thing I always adjust is the inner radius, because here you can set this to 80 and you will see that the donut is getting very slim, but I often like the percentage values to live in. And so I will go back to, let's say, 70, and then I can see the percentage. The second thing you can see are the detail labels. The detail labels are always the labels for the slices. And here you can choose between the category, the data value, then I can see the revenue or the percentage of the total. I most often use them to show the percentage of the total. Here you can choose the color for the series, so you can choose the series and adapt the color if you want. And you can also change the rotation if you want to do that. So if you change the rotation, you will see that this slice is not starting at 0, it's starting at 10 degrees. And sometimes you might need that, but I start at 0 degrees. What I also used to do is I like to sort by sales and not by categories. So this means I will see the biggest slice first and then they're getting smaller. This is much easier for the user to understand, because if you do it or sort it by category, and then we will go to ascending, you will see this is really a mess now because nobody knows what's going on. And the categories are also written down here. So we will go back here, sort by sales, and we will go to sort by descending. And what's new now is the center value. So if you scroll down here, you can see a center value. And in the center value, you can see a value, a label, an image, and a background. The background is turned off now in this version. You can turn it on. You will see that you can choose a fill. So let's say a gray one, and then it will be filled. We will come back to that later because the background formatting now is pretty great to use. You can also conditional format it, but for now we will turn it off. Then you can see here that you can also add an image here. The image is an PNG file. I can choose the transparency, I can choose the size and the gap for the image. You can see here a label. The label is the total sales, and this is also conditional formatable, so you can choose here also a dynamic value. At the moment, we have a static one. And you can also choose the position of the text above or below the callout value. And last but not least, we have here the value. And for the value, you can add here a field if you want to show another value besides of that. And you can also adjust the size of the value and the font style and also the display units. So this is pretty great now, because before you had to build a donut chart and you had to build a card and then you have to overlap them and really make sure that they are pixel perfect to each other to display what you can see here now. And now we will go to the rules. I know that people hate rules, but I like rules, because if people know rules, they will not build fancy charts. Nobody understands. So the number one rule when you're dealing with donut charts is the values you are using must be part of a whole. Often I do see people dragging in values that belong to a time series or something like that, and even values that are not always part of a whole, so they can be bigger than 100% or they can be negative or something else. So the first thing you have to remember is the values have to be part of a whole. So in this case, we have here the category and the sales. And so you can see that these four values are adding up to 100%. And here you can also see the timeline. And in the timeline, you can see that it would be a very bad idea to put in here the year or something like that, because this would really be crazy. And the great thing now with the new visual is, or the new center value, they're also filtering down to what you're choosing. So you can click here on mobile and you can see the whole thing filtering down, including also the center value. In the center value, like I told you before, I have put a value. The field is empty as the value is also the sales, and I only changed the labels here. So the labels are showing percentages while the sales is still the sum of sales. So I did not need a new field in the center value. I could just use the sales here. What I also did was I added a static label. The static label tells you total sales, and I also added a static image, and I also choose the image size. This is everything of the magic I did. And what you can see here now is this new donut chart. And like I said before, I always change the inner ring, and the inner radius is 65% to make sure that the percentages of the values are fitting in. And if I use percentages, I also hate decimals, because I find it rather strange if people are calculating already percentages and then they're calculating them with decimals. So you can see here, I put the percentage decimal places to 0. And this is all the magic I did here to get this chart. If we're going on, we will read rule number 2. Donut charts are perfect for binary KPIs. What do I mean with binary? So let's say it's on time, it's late, it's fulfilled, it's not fulfilled. So it's pretty like 1 or 0. So it's a really digital thing. And you can see it here. I used here the donut chart to show the status of delayed and non-delayed deliveries. In this case, you can see that 97% are on time and 3% are late. And then I decided to go in the middle ring for the exact numbers, because I already know that this is 97 and this is 3. So in the middle ring, I've been putting some measures, and you can see it here. The value is the late orders. So the 112, these 3%, are the value for the donut chart. And for the label, I've been putting a field value, and the field value is a measure I have been writing, so the info for late orders. And if we have a look at it, you will see that the info for late orders is just a measure that produces a specific text. In my case, it produces the text of 3,208 delayed. So I know when I look at this chart that 97% on time means that 112 deliveries are late. If I just want to show the progress, I have to change something. So you can see here that I switched more to a progress chart. And the progress chart here is showing 96% delivered and 4% are not delivered. If I'm going for a progress, I always make sure that this slice is gray. You can change that in the slices, so you can choose the open slices here and go for a gray color, and then only the delivered ones will have a color. And like I showed you before, you can then go to the center value and drag in here the on-time orders, so the 687. And as a label, I also produced a text this time. It's also a field value, and it's the info for late delivered. So this one, and it's also producing a text. The only thing you have to make sure if you work with measures producing a text, you have to switch here the format to text, because sometimes this is not working. And then you will not find the measure if you start searching for it here. So rule number 3 is be careful with progress. What I often see is people think, oh, progress is so great, I will take a donut chart. But honest question, what will you do if the progress is getting bigger than 100%? Then your circle is full and it can't get fuller anymore. In this case, I advise you to go for a bar chart, because in a bar chart, you can see here Austria has 105% progress, which is not a problem because it can get longer every time. And you could also put the target in if you like. So it's working much better than a circle that's showing 105%. Rule number 4, what I see over and over again is people are using way too many slices. So you get a very colorful calorie, let's say it like this, but not a donut chart. And nobody can recognize how big these slices are, because you can see it already here. They get very similar. And so this is really too much. So my advice would be, in this case, use donut charts only up to 4 slices, because you can see here the 4 are great to display. You also have a short legend, but also here you can see that it's very hard to differentiate between these two, which one is bigger now. So the question here is, do I have to use bar charts or not? So if you want to compare things precisely, I really do not recommend you to use a donut chart, because like I said before, it's very hard to find out the difference between these two, because we are not very good in comparing angles. But what we can compare very well are lengths. So my advice in this case is go back to a usual bar chart, and here you can see immediately how much smaller the sales per category was. And you can immediately tell this is smaller. Here, if I delete you the percentages, it is really impossible to do that. Rule number 6, the center should not repeat the ring. It's pretty boring if you use a donut chart and you put in here 96% and the middle or the center is also saying 96% delivered. So this is no additional information and there is no use of putting it in. So the better way in this case is to put in the deliveries or the number of deliveries. So I put in here 678 of 770 items delivered. So you see immediately how big these 4 percentages are. And the good thing is you can also conditional format the background. So you can decide here when this is getting green. And I show you what I did. I activated the background. I put in a conditional field value for the background color, so status delivered color. And if we have a look at it, you can see that this is a measure that is checking if the status delivered is bigger than 80%. If it's bigger, then the circle is getting green. If it's smaller, then the circle is getting orange. And what you can also do, you can play with the transparency, because you can see this is the original value. I found it too dark. So I added a little bit of transparency. And you can also play around with the gap, because if you put this to 0, it is really ugly. And if you put this to 15 or to 10, so let's say 10, you can see that it is much cleaner and looking much. So the background could be used to indicate the overall status of these KPIs. Then we come to rule number 7. And rule number 7 is color matters more than people think. I often see so many colorful donut charts lately, also with HTML and a color gradient and things like that. And my honest take on that, really nobody wants that and nobody needs that, because you need one clear color if you're showing progress to show the progress. And like I showed you before, you can set the color of the open slice to gray. So you're reducing immediately the colors. The viewer of the dashboard immediately knows where to look at this ring, because the 96% is the interesting part for him, and the 4% are only colorful but no additional information here, so you can leave them gray. Rule number 8, donuts are not enough if you want to understand if things are going well or going bad. So you also need additionally on your dashboard somewhere a trend. You can't use donut charts to show a trend. It's so great if people tell me, oh, we are 70% on track, and I don't understand what that means. Is it going worse? Is it going better? What's really happening there? And you can see it here that we see a delivery rate of 96%, which sounds good. But you can see here that it is varying over the time. And in August at the moment, we do not have this 96%. So this is not as great as we assumed it should be. And rule number 9, don't make every KPI a donut chart. I know that it is very tempting at the moment, as we got so many upgrades for the donut chart, to put in a dashboard a lot of donuts that are showing some progress. Please do not do that. People will be overwhelmed by that, and they will not be able to find out which KPI is really worth looking at and which KPI is doing what. So you can still or should still use other charts like bar charts that are showing the progress against a target, or here also a part of the sales. So you can see here that the profit is only this part of the total sales. And also here I was playing around with the data labels, because I liked to show the second series the complete value and not only the difference. So I was playing around with the details label, and this 1.1 million is the complete sales. So this was everything from my side, what I think you should know about donut charts. And I hope you had fun during the video and learned also a lot. And I hope you do not build everything out of donuts now. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and hope to see you soon. Wish you a great day now. Bye bye.